Hi everyone, this is just a really quick video about GCSE History and what we do, what we cover, just so that you're fully informed because you can't have a traditional options evening. So, first things first, what do we study? So on paper one, you have two elements. The first one is America, 1920 to 1973. Calls itself Opportunity and Inequality because it's all about the good things that happen, but then also some of the more negative things that caused divisions in society and unrest and generally made people quite unhappy. So it covers everything from flappers and gangsters right the way through to Martin Luther King. So it's quite a diverse course. Second one is Conflict and Tension 1919 to 1939. So that one's all about how the First World War ended and how that created the conditions and the problems for the Second World War. So Hitler's involved in that one and some of his actions in Europe that led to the events that you'll study as part of your Year 9 course. Paper 2 then, you have Britain, Health and the People, 1000 to the present day. So this is probably my favourite element of GCSE history. Essentially, it's the study of how we went from having absolutely no idea what made people ill or how to make them better to the situation that we're in today where we have a National Health Service that looks after us all. And it's fantastic because you spend a lot of the time sitting there thinking, I'm sorry, that they did what? And then we explain why that happened and what went on. And it generally is just quite interesting because it gives you a great understanding. And the second part, which we're hoping to be able to teach you, but we haven't done for quite a while because of the pandemic, is Elizabethan England, which most people look at and they think, oh no, Elizabeth. This is fascinating. I mean, anything that has a course where there's a textbook that says, and she turned around and punched him in the face when it's talking about the Queen of England, I think is fantastic. So this one's all about intrigue and plots and decisions and beheadings and invasions and wars. It's a really interesting piece of history to look at, and you look at that one in quite a lot of depth. So that means, exams-wise, you only have 2 exams for history. Some other things have 3, so there are just 2 exams in history, but there's no coursework. So there's nothing we can do in the classroom that banks you a certain percentage of a grade. It's all based on exam. They're usually about a week apart, those exams, but there are 2 exams to do, okay? So what does it actually look like when you study it? Well, on the board now, there's some pieces of work that have been done by current Year 10 this week. So this is all medicine. So they've got a big picture overview there of germs and disease. They've got some source annotation that's gone on around the Black Death. And they've got some note-taking on a man called John Hunter, who is connected with the infamous body snatching in Edinburgh and the Burke and Hare case and that sort of thing. So there's some examples of how work looks in books. It's really very similar to the work that you've done in Year 9, how the lessons are structured and how we ask you to fill things in and present things is very similar. There will be no surprises there for you. Why study it? Well, I mean, obviously I'd say because it's the most important subject that you can study, but I'm a history teacher. So first thing, it's a highly respected GCSE qualification, and that's either for colleges, for A-levels or BTECs, whatever you want to do, but also universities and employers. If they see that on your list of qualifications, it says a certain standard about you, a certain level of work that you're prepared to put in. Secondly, helps us understand the world that we're actually in today. So a lot of the things around us and a lot of the challenges that we face as a society stem from history. They can all be traced back to things that have gone on. So if you take, for example, I don't know, the conflict in Israel and Palestine, that stems back to the Second World War. If we look at the current pandemic, that stems back to our understanding of germ theory from the 1800s, all sorts of things that are connected. Thirdly, helps you sift through and find fact in a world that's full of information that comes at us so quickly. It helps us to know what we're looking at. Fourthly, in a world of myth, propaganda and conspiracy, it helps you identify the truth. So those 2 things go quite hand in hand quite nicely to help you unpick newspaper headlines, internet headlines, whatever it is. History helps you see and have the skills to discern what is the truth. And finally, it does not mean you have to be a history teacher. That's just for the really super cool people like me. So hopefully we'll see you in our classrooms next year. If you've got any questions, please do just ask myself, Mrs. Maud, Mr. Dewsnip, Mr. Ash, Miss Shirt, anyone that teaches you history. ask them, and if they don't know, they'll direct you to somebody that does.